Nope. Okay, so hello RuneScape 4 fans, it is I, RuneScape 4, and today I am joined by the lovely, TheNekoMimiGamer. So for today's topic, we're going to debate whether fandoms are good or bad, and what exactly are fandoms. So, would you like to answer that question?
I would love to answer this question.
Okie dokie, so what are fandoms?
A fandom is a group of people that revolve around a particular game, a franchise, a specific character. They have fandoms for Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who, Five Nights at Freddy's, Slender.
Sadly, I don't think many people remember Slender Man anymore. I think Five Nights at Freddy's just kind of put him under the rug for a while.
There's also fandom for Undertale, and those two fandoms seem to like to fight one another over which one is the best game, I guess.
And that's something we will actually be discussing about with debates. For this debate is, how do the fandoms interact with other fandoms and other people? Do they react in a good way or a bad way? And from what I've seen a lot, usually in a bad way, especially with the Xbox community, the PlayStation community, and the Nintendo community.
Oh, yes. But it's not really the community as a whole that reacts either good or bad. It's the people inside the community.
Exactly.
And each one is different.
So from your point of view, do you think fandoms are good for a franchise or bad for a franchise?
Both. The fandom is good for the franchise because it creates an audience to sell fan-made products like plush toys, t-shirts, hats, ballpoint pens.
I actually have a Walking Dead pen that doesn't work.
And it also creates a community where people like to post fan art, fan fictions, and some of them are really good, and others, depending on the person that wrote them, are just, ew, stay the hell away.
And that's where we come to with this first discussion point is the ecchi fandoms, or the etchiness within a fandom. There is so much, especially if you're on Google Plus, if you're in any fandom on Google Plus or any community on Google Plus, you know what we're talking about here. Or if you simply type in any anime character or any video game character with the search results off in Google or Bing.
Excuse me.
It's okay. You definitely know what we're talking about here. People have taken these characters and have created them in a very adult situation. And like I said, you don't
I'm not gonna lie, I do have a crush on one particular character from one particular franchise, but I don't go as far as, you know, writing them
create something like that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go into detail.
This stuff, you don't even need to type it in to look for it. Just turn off your search results and type in something and it'll show up whether you wanted to or not.
And Google Safe Search is a joke. You can easily work around it if you have the smarts.
Oh god, yeah.
Excuse
me. Especially with YouTube, with the tags you can do. You could take an innocent or a not so innocent video, put in a bunch of innocent tags, and get around their mature content flagger thing.
Which is why YouTube Kids isn't even a good thing either, because there are hidden content in there that kids should not be looking at, simply because they look up one thing and they get all the results.
Oh yeah, Google and Bing are horrible about it. Although I have to say, Bing, you get more accurate results.
I definitely have to give Microsoft credit for that, even though they kind of have a sucky OS.
That is actually sadly true.
I mean, I love the layout. I just don't like what it does half the time.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there with that. So when you see this etchiness in fandoms, I call it etchiness because some of it is just, borderline between pornography and PG, not PG-13, M rating. We'll just say that, M rating game. So the ones that are within M-rated range that you see on Google Plus or any other social media site, what do you think that persuades people about the fandom?
Well, the first look, the first impression is always very important to people who are new in the fandom. So if they look up something that they have never heard that they have never heard of before, or maybe they heard of, they just never really looked into it. If they look it up on Google and the first thing they see is a bunch of crude pictures between a humanized Foxy the Pirate Fox and somebody's OC, they're gonna think, ew, I don't want this crap. It's like, and they just stay away from it without even playing the actual game first, and that's kind of sad. Or they don't see the good side of fan art and fan fiction that actually is still up on the internet.
Which is true,
Which,
but you also
again,
got to think of
is
how
sad.
parents may view it if they see that. If they do research on the game and that's something that pops up, you think they're going to let their kids play this or let other kids play this and not outreach to other parents about it.
Okay, I have to deviate from the subject a little bit to discuss this part. Parents are the reason why video games nowadays have an ESRB rating, and they
Thank you,
don't
one
use
very
it!
Yep, the SRB rating, fun history fact, was actually created because I believe it wasn't Double Dragon, it was Mortal Kombat was deemed too bloody and gory at the time. This is for it was the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, right? Or was it the Nintendo Entertainment System?
I don't know. The only Mortal Kombat game I ever played was Mortal Kombat Armageddon for the Xbox.
Okay, so it's either the NES version or the SNES version. So you gotta think back, those graphics back then were 8-bit, extremely pixelated blood and gore, and that was deemed too gory, too realistic for these parents to let their children play. So that's when they decided to create the electronic rating board system.
I should probably put on some lights so people can see me a little better. Ow! Bright light.
Don't blind yourself.
Yeah.
Like when parents look into a franchise for their children, if they see any of this stuff, it's immediately going to deteriorate them from letting their children even bring it up in the household. If they ever saw some of these etchy pictures or videos or wherever the hell the person's created of this franchise.
And some people can like a franchise without liking the actual games, which at first I didn't think really made sense, but I kind of had to be supportive of it because my mom knows absolutely nothing about Five Nights at Freddy's, but she loves Bonnie the Bunny.
And that's another thing. A lot
she
of
loves
people,
bunnies in general.
They just like the idea and concept. Like the whole reason I actually played Five Nights at Freddy's and even bought the game was because I wanted to find out about the interesting story about Five Nights at Freddy's, about the murdered children, all the little hidden details and everything, because that just adds on to the game versus just playing the game. So that's what actually got me to play the game, was seeing like PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier playing Five Nights at Freddy's.
I've actually played it too, but I'm kind of stuck on night 5.
Well,
I got really lucky on night 4.
I can't get past night 2, and I still can't.
I can't get past night 2 on the second game. I get killed by the Balloon Boy Foxy combo every single time.
Now, I actually want to bring, since we're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, there's something we should also talk about, and that is the Five Nights at Freddy's community that has been on Google Plus for a very long time and has received so much backlash by they're a notorious hacking group. The YouTube Troll Police, I believe.
Troll Police. YouTube Troll Police, yes. UTTP for short.
Yes, the UberTuber Patrol. They basically are a group of hackers that, believe it or not, were originally created to be a joke by the original creator, and not even him is in control of this group anymore. They have gone rogue with creating anti-hate fandom propaganda. And Five Nights at Freddy's community is their #1 target, as well as Undertale. I've seen one for Roblox, which I love Roblox. Don't see why they could hate it. And they're just basically any fandom you could think about. These people have created a hate group for it, solely based on what? What do you think?
You know, I've heard some people say that they hate the game because it's not scary enough. I can honestly say they did not live in the 90s like I did, because I grew up on Chuck E. Cheese animatronics, and
Yeah.
they were scary as hell to me. I was afraid to go near him, but I would rather go near him than the guy in the actual human in the costume.
Very, very true. But my point for that group and some of those other hacker groups that, like 4chan, for instance, they got some people that hate fandoms, even though surprisingly 4chan is the birthplace of a lot of these fandoms, or where a lot of these fandom-based memes start.
Well, ain't that ironic?
Oh god, yeah, you should see the memes of 4chan. They're hilarious. Yeah, but basically, I feel that the reason they're hating this is just because they're trolls, nothing else to it. Trolls, they don't really care if you like it or not. If you like it, that just means, well, we're just
They
going to
have
ruin
somebody
it
to
for
pick
you.
on.
Exactly. Because they don't care if you really like it or really don't like it. If you have any affiliation with it, they're just going to ruin your life for the hell of it. So it's not really the fandom itself, it's just they want to attack people with something they love or hate even more. If they hate it, they're going to try to force it down your throat. If you love it,
I actually
they're going to
was
try
a
to make you
hacking
hate it.
victim at one point simply because I was a FNAF fan. Or at least I believe that to be, because I had one friend who was role-playing as Freddy Fazbear, and one day when I was in college, it was before class even started, so it was okay for me to have my phone out and turned on. And I got, for a week before this, he started acting very distant towards me, and I wasn't even sure why exactly. And he sent me a text that day and said, "Will you stop already?" And I'm like, "Stop what?" And he said, "Sending me Gmails that say fuck you and shit." And I'm like, hey, whoa, hold on, slow down, shut up, think for a second. You've known me for how long, and you didn't think for a second that I would ever say that kind of crap to you? And then he actually did think for a second, and he was just like, oh my god. So I created a YouTube video saying that I believe my account to have been hacked, and I changed my password and enabled two-factor authentication.
Now, hold on a second. Before I continue,
So
for all my YouTube viewers, YouTube viewers, add the two-step verification to your account. Don't even debate it. It is the most securest way to secure your account from getting hacked. You got to have a phone to access your account from anywhere. So unless they have your phone, they can't get into your account to edit any settings or even log on to your G+, your Gmail, your Hangouts, your YouTube account without your phone. So enable that. It's very simple, very easy to do, and I love it.
and to keep your phone from being hacked, keep Bluetooth turned off if you're not using it.
Ooh, that
That is
reminds
the
me.
easiest way for your phone to get hacked.
I got to turn my Bluetooth off.
I learned this because I took network security in college.
Smart. Now then, so as you were saying, sorry about that.
So I created the video saying that I believed my account had been hacked, so I changed my password to something even longer than it was before, even more complex, and even added special characters. Because the key factor in having a good password isn't even the complexity, it's the length.
Very true. It's also to make a password that nobody would suspect it would be from you. if you make it something that people know, oh, okay, that's your favorite thing, so that's obviously going to be your password, you failed at making a password. You got to make it
Yeah, you don't want to.
something
You gotta make
that.
sure it's something that's not an English word.
So what I do for my passwords actually is I create a random number generator based off of random keys, and basically I decode it using a cipher of any A equals 0, B equals 0, and then I just do that, and there's my password. So nobody can really know. And since it's a random number generator, if somebody tries to bring up the program, it'll just bring up another random number.
That's really clever.
Thank you. I love coding.
I'm not gonna reveal any of my methods because just for safety's sake.
But definitely use that method if you want to create a strong password, because like I said, it's a random number generator. Anytime you bring it up, it's going to be a new random number. It will never be the same exact sequence of numbers. And if you use your decoding, especially a decoding method that you invented, it's even more secure.
Secure.
Sorry.
Secured. That's going in my pocket dictionary. All joking aside, eventually I got a comment on that video saying that I actually did send those emails and I just regretted it later. And I had never even said in the video. I mean, I did say that a friend was receiving emails from me saying nasty things, but I had never sent them. And this person just randomly comments she did say those, that I did say those things and I just regretted them later, and that they know me IRL. And I was like, aside from the YouTube video, the only other person I told this is, well, my friend, and the only other person is myself. And it was a username I did not recognize, so obviously I do not know them IRL.
Well, maybe they know you, but they haven't told you yet.
If it was somebody I knew IRL, they would not be doing that shit to me.
And well, maybe it's somebody that secretly hates you. You never know. There's a lot of messed up people.
Well, regardless, I reported them and I blocked them, and I, of course, I deleted their comment. At least I think I deleted it. Blocking them. And I remember, at least I think it did. I'm pretty sure I took a snapshot of the person that commented, posted it on Google Plus, and said, I think I found my hacker.
Interesting. So let's get back on the topic of the fandoms. So far we discussed with the fandoms about how parents or anybody basically, they see, some of this fan art, some of the fan videos, they may be compelled to dislike the franchise or prevent people from accessing the franchise. I mean, when you think about it like that, you would think that it really does damage a franchise to be affiliated with that.
In a way, it damages the franchise, yes. In the way, I think it damages more of the people.
That is true.
Like, it divides the fandom into two groups. One of the groups is people who like to keep things PG as possible, and the other likes to get X-rated.
Very, very true. And like I said, Google Plus is definitely a place where X-rated rules everything somehow.
And also Tumblr and DeviantArt.
Those as well. I was going to say them the dignity, but...
And I haven't seen any on furaffinity.net, but I probably just haven't looked hard enough. Nor do I want to.
With Google, Bing, Google Plus, you don't have to actually be looking for it. That's the sad thing, that any kid or child or parent could just type it in and voila, there you go.
It's like, rule number 34, guys. If it exists and it's popular, there's probably of it.
That is very, very true. So make sure when you're on Google being looking up stuff from fandoms, make sure you have the safety search result onto strict. Because if not, you may want to make sure your parents are around when you're doing the search results. So fandoms in that way are I consider bad and very not too sure about the fans themselves. But at the same time, you gotta think it's also good for the fandom for deranged, unstable people like that who join the fandom because of that.
You know what I don't understand about each side of the fandom? Like, I mean, I don't know. We already discussed that the Rule 34 art and stuff is bad for the fandom in some ways, but at the same time, the other side of the fandom is hurting themselves because some of them will deliberately search up Rule 34 art of a particular fandom just to spam hateful comments on their stuff.
Mm.
And that is just wrong on so many levels. I mean, sure, you don't like the content, but that's why you turn the filter on. It's like, if you don't like the content, then don't look for it.
But you gotta remember, people like the UTTP, they feed off of that stuff to try to better their agenda of getting people to hate fandoms because of that.
And some people have actually committed suicide over these hateful comments.
That is sadly true. And the sad thing is, technology has not really truly caught up to the law yet, especially with stuff like this. Cyberbullying is technically it is against the law, but unless you actually get caught in the act, there's nothing really much they can do, or even the school can really do, except for probably expel the kid. But if he's cyberbullying you, that ain't gonna do nothing.
It's like, unless the kid grows some balls, pardon my language, it's like, takes screenshots, saves the emails and stuff of these people harassing them and sending them to the police, and that's pretty much all you can do.
True, but the also thing that they really do fail at a lot is they could just create alternative accounts and just keep on harassing. It's cyberbullying is so rampant because of that fact that they can just make new accounts.
The thing is, even if you create a new account with a new username, a new email, a new name altogether, you're still linked to the same IP address.
Ah, see, that's where a lot of people get clever. They actually go to other places where the IP address is different to log on, like internet cafes, a McDonald's.
Or if you were really clever, have something like VMware on your desktop and create a virtual machine every time. So if you get IP banned from somebody, you just delete the virtual machine, bring up another one, and just start over from there.
So see, with problems like that, that's why cyberbullying is so rampant, because you can never truly defeat it. It will not like a real bully where if you actually expel him, that's it. He won't bother you in school anymore. But when it comes to cyberbullying, even if they expel him, he can still get onto a computer and harass people. And that's also why trolls are so rampant.
Unless you actually present evidence to somebody in authority, because they actually had the means to track down an IP address to an exact location, and they can send local authorities over to catch somebody in the act.
Which is true, but you gotta remember, this is not really a federal law, it's a state law. So it all depends on what state you're in. Some states really don't even care about this.
Well, they should. They honestly should, especially with the impact that's happening on family lives.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. It should be a federal law where all states have to follow it. And it's a set guideline. There's no, okay, this one state, you'll get 2 years for cyberbullying, or in this state, you just get off with a warning, and we just revoke your computer privileges. I mean, some states are very lenient on the punishment and what they will do.
And others are very strict.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's one guy who hacked into a bank in his area just to see if he could do it, and then figure out what all they could do to tighten their security. He presented it to them. He had good intentions, but the one thing he forgot to do was ask permission first. So he got arrested, and now he cannot even go near a computer ever again.
Mm-hmm. Some states are like that. In other states, it's just really dependent on the state laws. I mean, there are so many laws that you think are, same exact law everywhere, when actually they're just state laws that anything can happen in different states. So what may be completely legal and not really much of a punishment in your state may be completely different in another state. So always remember that when you're going to a different state, at least in the United States.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let's actually talk about the good about fandoms. We talked about the bad, so let's talk about the good. So
Like, I've seen some artists make really good fan art of stuff. Like, even if I don't like the card content, the way they draw is amazing, or the way they write is just fascinating. It's like they use the perfect words, and it's eye candy. It's beautiful.
I've seen a lot of those. Like, I've seen a lot of my favorite 90s characters. I am part of a lot of 90s fandoms. Redrawn as modern day animations using the Japanese art style, and it is amazing. I'm now, when they remake shows, I'm really against them changing the design, but the way these people draw it, I would actually be okay if they were the artists to redesign the animations for these shows, because they put so much time and detail into their work of art, and that's what it is to them. It's a work of art. It's not about the money. It's about making art. Whereas when a corporation does it, they just hire people to make money. They don't care about the quality control so long as it makes some money.
Yeah. I think that's why fan made products sell a lot better than actual licensed products. Like My Little Pony, for instance.
That is a very famous, very popular fandom.
Like, there are some toys that are fan made that are adorable as hell. They're cute, they're cuddly, they just look right. Like, it's like they took the character off the screen and put it in a plush form right on the table. And then you have the actual licensed product that looks like a 10-year-old made it from scratch.
And also the reason
Would
why they
still
look
be
like
good
that.
considering it would be a 10-year-old making it, but it's still poor quality material. It looks like, I don't want to say it looks like crap, but it doesn't look good either.
And the reason that is because companies mass produce them and they push them out so fast. You'll get a lot of products that have defaults and they don't exactly look like they're supposed to, because they're just caring about how much we can make and how much product we can produce for consumers. Not much real quality control.
And it's something that fandom companies really need to think about, is that if a demand is something super high, they shouldn't have something mass produced just to meet the demand. Otherwise, their stuff is just going to fall apart. Like, for instance, I mean, I know this isn't a fandom item, but these cat ear headphones, when they were originally released, I mean, advertised to the public, there was such a high demand for them that they put them out without actually testing the product. So some people had the defect where one side audibly goes out and you have to recharge it all the time. That was the defect that I got specifically. So I had to contact Broodstone online, and I had to get a new pair shipped out, which I got a working pair now.
Oh, they both light up now.
Yeah.
That's good. Hold on a second.
Yeah, and this time I'm going to be more careful about it. It's like
Oh yeah, like
because
I've gotten
these things are
the
it's delicate equipment. You have to be gentle when putting it on and taking it off. Otherwise, you'll damage the wire or you'll accidentally break one of these things.
and if it was really made to be good quality, you wouldn't really have to worry about that. Like I have a pair just like those, except they don't have the ears. They are wireless Bluetooth speakers as well, and they dropped one time, and now they won't charge anymore. Just one little drop off my bed, and it will not charge anymore whatsoever. So now I got a pair of ones that won't charge, and of course, it was after the warranty expired.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, and
Well,
I love
luckily I
those
didn't even
things.
have
I
luckily
mean,
I didn't even have my pair for 6 months before it decided to go to
you're lucky. I mean, these things had amazing sound quality, and the battery, I charged it for 4 hours, and it lasted 3 to 4 days, even with speakers on. So they were premium quality headphones. I got them really cheap, but again, one fall off my bed and it won't charge anymore. I think it may have
that
broke the actual
sucks.
charging port. But again, going back to the fandom toys, with relating to what we were just talking about, if you make a toy based off of fandom, uh, it really depends on how popular the fandom is. Because when they first come out, toys or posters, any type of gags like that, they're fresh, they're beautiful, they're amazing. But as it increases more popularity, the demand increases, and therefore they got to rush to production. That's when you start getting all the flaws, the imperfections. Not saying nothing's perfect, but you get more imperfections, and they get more and more careless. If you remember my YouTube video I did on that 22
If you,
ammo, which
and if you get really nitpicky fans, they will look for flaws in the design. Like, for
uh,
instance, I have a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza t-shirt, and Bonnie's eyes are the wrong color. They made them blue. They're supposed to be magenta.
hmm,
And Bonnie himself is supposed to be periwinkle, not plum.
true. And if you also think about it, a lot of these flaws, especially like in Pokemon cards or certain products, can actually be worth a lot of money, especially if they recall it.
Hmm.
But when the
Hell out of my face. Thank you.
I was saying, if you remember my video I did with the 22 rounds I got from Winchester, those were, since we were during the 22 crisis, they had to mass produce that ammunition as fast as they can. As you saw, the bullet tips were loose. I could actually pull the bullet tip off the casing. Some of them didn't even have a bullet tip on them, and a lot of the crimping machines actually dented the bullet to where it actually just fell out. So when you have products like that that are being mass produced, you see a lot of that stuff, especially when they got to make, especially when they're really, really low on something. That's when you start seeing like a lot of really bad imperfections that can even define the purpose of what it was actually meant to be, like voice chips that may go wrong, or the toy is so fragile, if you have to take it out of the box, you can easily break it because they had to switch to something cheaper in order to mass produce faster.
Or you miss one little seam on the side of a plush's leg, and those little stuffings come out. I actually had that happen with my toy Freddy plushie, and luckily I had a sewing kit in my bag, so I easily did a surgical operation there.
Mm. Yeah, I've seen a lot of products like that. My mom watches little kids, so they constantly bring toys. And one of the toys this little girl we watch had, basically how they sewed the arm together was they just took it, they stuffed it inside the doll, and then just kind of stitched around it. They didn't actually really attach the actual end piece to the actual doll. They just kind of shoved it in there and then sewed it. So it came out real easily, and she was so devastated.
Aww.
Uh,
And sometimes the flaw isn't even the product itself, but the product tag. I still have a picture somewhere on my phone. I'd have to hunt for it, but when I got my Toy Freddy plushie from GameStop, the little tag said, like, it was supposed to say Five Nights at Freddy's plush assortment, but it said Five Nights at Freddy's plush ass.
Since you're
And
talking
they
about
have since
Fandoms as well,
corrected that.
hang on 1 second. See if I can find it. 'Cause I got Perfect Flaw, and that is actually in a copy of Pokemon Yellow Adventure. I
Oh,
got this from Epcot in Florida, and basically, if you open up here, let's see if you can see it well. Can you tell me what's wrong?
no, it's too blurry.
Okay, so basically they have the gym leaders here, and they're saying this is Giovanni, which obviously that's not Giovanni. They're saying Brock is Lieutenant Surge. That's not Lieutenant Surge, and Misty
They
is
call
Koga.
Misty as Koga.
Yeah, so when I saw this, I'm like, wait a second. I have Pokemon Yellow the game, so I know that that is not the correct names for this. And this is in a manga they were selling.
Oh lordy, lordy. So, sometimes you gotta love little defects like that because it's not really a defect that affects the entire thing. It's just
Oh,
something funny to look back on.
great. It's just I found that extremely hilarious, especially since how big Pokemon was in the 90s, and that is what this is based off of. I mean, our library actually used to have the little hardcover books of these. I would check them out from our little trailer library we had at the time. So seeing those are like the hilarious flaws, but then you got some, like I said, that are really damaging to the product and cause the products to break very easily or not function like they're supposed to.
Hmm.
So you also think that also kind of damages a fandom because that product is a reputation of the product, the franchise. So when people in fandoms do make those products and then they make up flaws in them or anything like that, people can actually lose faith in a product because of the way it's designed.
Well, it's more like they lose faith in the product company to ever make something really good like that again.
Mm,
It doesn't really damage the franchise itself.
very, very true.
I mean, it kind of can, but at the same time, it doesn't directly affect it.
And then you also, of course, got some of the toys that the franchise has created themselves and not the fandoms that have actually been, shall we say, mentally scarring. If you've ever seen some YouTube videos
Oh
of toy
no.
you know what I'm talking about, especially if you've seen ones on the Punisher toy.
Oh god, no, please, no, don't go into that.
Yeah, so, I mean, the toys that were based off of that made by fandoms, they, of course, actually corrected those and sold them, but the actual companies that made them, I just gotta know what were they smoking and how the heck could they let something like that fly without actually thinking? Because, yeah, I think the parents are going to be looking at this when they buy it before they
They
give
were
it to
probably playing Five Nights at F Boys Drunk or something.
Uh,
I had to bring that up. That's actually a really good fan made game. I mean, it's really stupid, but at the same time, it's funny.
hmm.
It's just more enjoyable on days when you're like, you know what the heck? I feel like doing something insanely stupid.
Hmm. And let's see. One of the games I actually have, and I will do a YouTube video on this, I promise, is Star Warp. It's a fan-made game based off of Star Wars. And it is a pretty hilarious, awesome game. And like I said, I'll do a YouTube video on it, maybe tomorrow if I feel like reinstalling it. Uh, but it is actually a really good fan-made game. There's a lot of laughs in it, and it just truly shows how, in a good way, the fans are dedicated to an entire series or character. And that is very good for the fandoms.
I personally really like Star Trek Online.
Mm.
It's an MMORPG based on Star Trek, obviously. And I'm a low level compared to most other people out on the interwebs, but I have a group of friends that I play with, and they've been helping me out. And likewise, I help them out because there's this one quest where you had to play a memory game in order to do a nerve tonic, and well, I just happen to have the best memory in the group.
And since we're on topic of video games with fandoms, a lot of these video games that are part of fandoms, so we can actually talk about wide variety thing, because like she said with the definition, fandoms is pretty much any products, any video games, TV shows, movies, animes, books.
That's
So
the
there's just a
franchise, it's not the fandom.
well, basically that's what they cover. Fandoms, they're all of those things. So with the video game franchise, with especially with PC gaming and mods, the actual games made by the companies can be really good or just really crappy. But then you have the fans that come along and make the fan-made mods that actually make the gameplay better. It actually can improve the performance and make the game much more interesting, especially when they add story modes onto it that, you know, you beat the game 20 times and it's boring. Well, now you download this mod and guess what? 22 new missions with new storylines. Download another mod, 50 new missions, new vehicles, new
Or
everything.
even better yet, calendar events.
Oh god, I
Like
hate
something that only
those.
special events that only happen a specific time of year. So you really got to be a hardcore player in order to get them all.
Like my
It's like
Pokemon.
playing Pokemon.
I got that game and I got the first two events, but then I went to my college and they banned me my 3DS from connecting to the Wi-Fi. So for the 4 months I was at college when the game was released and they released all of their material, I could not connect to the Wi-Fi or the internet to get those special Pokemon and items. So I got screwed
Oh
over.
damn! I wish I had known. I would have asked one of my friends to help me out.
And well, college actually blocked the 3DSs from connecting to the Wi-Fi. They'll allow Xbox, PlayStation, uh, my Blu-ray player, but they would not allow a 3DS. When I got that email from tech support, it was really sad. And they even said, we were sorry to inform you, Mr. Dake, that you cannot connect your 3DS to our Wi-Fi network. We are terribly sorry. So at least they were nice about it when they actually told me this very, very sad news.
See, nice about it, yes, but still sad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what's the worst you can do on a 3DS? I mean,
Spend several hours
why
updating
is it?
every single game.
Yeah, but it's no different than plugging in an Xbox or a PlayStation. It's still a video game console
It's just the way
in
you
its own way.
set it up.
It's so annoying.
Actually, this also can kind of tie in with fandoms for the fact that depending on where you're at, some of these fandoms, some of the creations they create, may actually be offensive to some people. Like a lot of the, like I saw this video on the top 10 redesigned Disney princesses. That pissed off a lot of people in the Disney fandoms because they actually portrayed several of the princesses as being in different countries. So some people really.
I think I actually saw a video of that. How they redesigned a Disney princess and made her from a different country and gave her a different look. And I'm just like, no.
I
mean, the design is great and all, but it's still not the character.
Exactly, and that's what offended so many people because, like they did Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, some of the most well-known Disney princesses, and the fact that these people did go in there redesigned them pissed off so many people, and it's sad when you see that because although they did it for the good of the fandoms, people in the actual fandom themselves kind of didn't like it. So when it comes to fandom art, you either got especially fandom art in a fandom, you got the pro fandom that's like, okay, sure, whatever, and then the other one's like, no, it's not canon, it's not original, you ruined everything, you ruined the whole purpose of this fandom. I have seen people like that on Google Plus, so.
Thing, I wouldn't even really say that the redesign. Oh, excuse me. What the heck? I wouldn't say that the redesign ruined the franchise altogether. But yeah, it does tick off a lot of hardcore fans that are just so used to things being one way, and then somebody draws something that deviates from that norm.
And this is also where a fandom actually ruins not only the product but itself by not allowing creativity. I mean, people who are in fandoms, they love the product so much, and then they want to redesign it their own way to love it even more. And then you got people who, again, are canon freaks that it has to be the same way no matter what. Nothing can change about it. And it's things like that that ruin the fandoms and the product themselves.
And then you have people that are just so, I don't know what the word is, but yeah, I really don't know what the word for it is, but you got video games that specifically MMOs that allow you to pick from several different races of characters. And if you just don't happen to be the one person that really likes the cat-like person, people will literally bitch at you and call you a furry. Like, I had that happen to me when I was playing Guild Wars 2. I have a Char Thief, and I'm level 27. And this one person came up to me while I was in the middle of an event and said, hey, ew, furries. And one of my friends screamed in local chat in all caps, ew, annoy me! And I was like, that was so priceless.
People are very judgmental, and as for again, we're on the video game topics. As we mentioned in the beginning, one of the fandoms that fight the most is the PlayStation Network and the Xbox Network for communities on Google Plus, and I'm part of both of them because I love all video games, all video game consoles. I guess if you say I could have a favorite, it would be Nintendo, since I have the most Nintendo items for a game company per console wise, but still, I don't really truly have a favorite console. But you'll see people from the Sony or PlayStation community go to the Xbox community and just trash people's posts to say that Sony PlayStation is so much better than Microsoft, or they'll make fan art where they show Sony or PlayStation being more dominant, more or just really anything that makes it look better than Microsoft. And sadly, they always show Nintendo as the very slow, dumbfounded company, which I think is very wrong of them to do, since Nintendo gave us so many advancements in technology for games.
It also gave us the franchises that have survived for like as little as 14 to as long as 30 years, like Mario and Pokemon and Legend of Zelda. Kirby even.
Nintendo is the longest surviving video game company out there. I mean, I guess you could also say Sega's one of them, but I think
they have Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, that's true, but
what does Xbox have?
Nintendo than anything independent. Because so many of their games are owned by Nintendo, like Sonic, the Olympic games. Basically all the games that were Sega based eventually moved over to Nintendo consoles only because Sega stopped making consoles.
And one of those games in which that did that was Bayonetta. Bayonetta 1 was a really kick-ass game that was available for PS3 and Xbox 360. And that was one of those really cool games. Like, the currency system is definitely Sonic-based, but like, just the fact that it was available for both consoles. Like, either of them could play it. It was just so great in that it didn't show favor to one or the other. And then Bayonetta 2 came out, and it was only available for the Wii. And I'm like, why is this a thing now?
And see, when you also have that, that is something that also pisses off a lot of the people in fandoms, because now they're picking sides. Which one was better? Was it because of the PlayStation and Xbox because they had better graphics? Or is it because of the Wii or any newer versions for even, say, PC because they have better graphics? And that's actually one of the biggest memes or posts I see is they always take one single frame from a game and say, this is on the Wii, this is on the PlayStation, this is on the Xbox, and oh, this is on the PC. When I look at it, that's the exact goddamn thing. Just you label them PlayStation, Xbox, PC. None of them look better. None of them are really, truly different. And also with the Xbox and PlayStation community, something I've learned. So I actually have a couple games that are on both the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 2. One of them is Mercenaries 2 World Within Flames. Now, I have done a video on both games. And if you've seen those videos, you know the map, the vehicles, the story mode even is completely different based on the two consoles. The PlayStation 2 console version is completely different storyline, even map layout, versus the Xbox 360 one. And they are both Mercenaries 2, World in Flame. They both came out the same exact year, except one was on the 360, the other was on the PlayStation 2. I've also noticed that with the first Mercenaries game on the PlayStation and the original Xbox, the story modes were different, the gameplay were different, even the vehicles were completely different.
That's really interesting. It's like one of those games where you have to buy every single console that's available for it just to see all of the story plot.
Exactly, and when you have stuff like that, that's what turns fandoms and the video game commercial or community against each other, because oh well, Xbox version has this, this, and this. Well, no, PS2 version has this, 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 and this. It's like, okay, which version truly is better? Because they make two alternative versions for the consoles.
And in the end, is anything really better? Or are people just biasing this on their own opinion? It's like their own personal preference. If you have a personal preference, that's okay. But it's not okay to say one is better over the other just because you like it.
Well, actually, I do have to say the Xbox version of Mercenaries 2 was actually a lot better than the PlayStation 2, although the PlayStation 2 version had a lot of unique features that didn't go over to the Xbox one that I really liked and wish they did have.
So, personally, I'm a PC gamer because it's one thing that I have access to all the time.
Very true.
But I still like my Wii games on occasion because I like to play Link's crossbow training. I gotta practice my sharpshooting somehow. I like Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort.
Which there's nothing wrong with. I love those games as well.
I have Mario Kart Wii, which I haven't played in a long time. But it was still fun to do Rainbow Road, especially since it would make my grandmother dizzy.
And actually, this actually brings up something I just remembered about the fandoms and video games is a fandom character that actually got put into a very famous, popular Nintendo game.
And that would be?
Linkle.
Oh yeah, she's in Hyrule Warrior Legends.
That's the female version of Link that somebody created, and Nintendo actually took that idea and actually put it in an actual official Zelda game.
But she's still not a canon character, according to Nintendo. She's not even an actual female Link. She's supposedly Link's twin sister.
Who knows? Maybe they will put in a official character story for her in future games.
Well, all I can say is I actually have been writing a Legend of Zelda manuscript, and I was kind of hoping it would be a game, considering how well I've been writing it.
And I saw that and read that. That was actually very good. Kudos
and
to
I
you.
have and I have been drawing concept art, which I have on my computer. And I really need to draw more, honestly. But I haven't really had the itch to draw more.
But when you think of when it comes to canon, let's actually take a look at one game that a lot of people have lost faith in because it's not canon anymore, and that is the Super Smash Bros. Fandom. If you call the newest game for the Wii U version / 3DS version, you can see they've added characters such as Pac-Man to the game. Pac-Man was created by Namco, not Sega, not Sony, Namco, who they create games for a wide variety of consoles. So, as has always been that the Smash Bros. Contain Nintendo characters only. So for this newest installment in the Smash Bros. Series, we are seeing characters that are not actually 100% owned by Nintendo.
They also had Bayonetta in the mix, which I personally find awesome because I already knew her moveset.
Oh, they actually did add Bayonetta?
Yeah, she's a DLC.
Of course, that's why I haven't noticed. DLCs.
I think she's still available. I mean, she should be. The others are still available.
Yeah, if it's a DLC, then yes.
My only problem is I can't play the game anymore. I think my 3DS is finally conking out. It's not reading half of my chips.
Ooh, that's not good. But, and also, we also see a Sega character in there, a legendary Sega character, Mega Man. This was Mega Man's actually first return back into a new game. I mean, Mega Man was pretty much dead until Nintendo revived him in this game. So kudos for Nintendo for that, but again, that really pissed off a lot of fans because Mega Man's Sega, not Nintendo.
Bayonetta's technically only half Nintendo.
Again, that is also true. But you gotta think, when they do things like this, for the game companies, they're doing it to get more fans into it, but at the same time, the fans that are already part of that fandom, game companies
Are
really
being
don't...
chased out?
Well, they just kind of ignore them because they're playing the demographics. Okay, we got a very popular character here that a lot of people really love. Let's put him in our game. I mean, if you look at Soul Calibur, for instance, if you play on
yeah,
the
they always have a cameo in their thing, don't they? Like Soul
Yes.
Calibur 2 had Link, Soul Calibur 4 had Yoda.
Well, Yoda's on
Soul
both
Calibur...
consoles because I have him on the Xbox version as well. But if you look at the PS2 version of Soul Calibur 2 and the GameCube version of Soul Calibur 2, the special guest characters are completely different. For the GameCube, of course, it's Link. For the PS2 version, it's he's from Street Fighter. That's all I know. I don't play Street Fighter because I suck at it horribly, so I really don't know his name.
I don't think I know his name. The first name that pops in my mind is Ryu or something.
No, it wasn't Ryu. It was an older man. But you also have games like that, again, they kind of carry into both the fandoms themselves and the video game fandoms themselves. Because you got that, okay, which special character is more powerful? The Wii version or the PlayStation 2 character's special guest star or the GameCube special guest star?
And again, it's all based on preference. But then again, you have a double whammy there. Is the preference based on the console or the character?
And not only that, but the skill of the actual player who uses it. Because in those type of styles of games, it doesn't matter what character you are. If you're your favorite character or your least loved character, if you train with that character, you can become a boss. Like me, I hate Ganondorf. He's evil, but when it comes to Smash Bros. Brawl, I am the best with him. No other character I am good at in that game, but Ganondorf, I am a master with.
I am the best at Zero Suit Samus when it comes to Smash Brothers. That and Lucina. Like, there was only one time when I was playing as Zero Suit Samus that I ever got the Smash Ball and was able to aim on all my targets perfectly. I have a really hard time aiming because the thing is so slow and everybody else is running so fast.
Very true. So,
Just the one time where I got all 3 hits right on the nose, and it was just the happiest moment of my life.
so in your opinion, based on what we discussed, do you still think fandoms are good, or are they bad for a product or a franchise?
I am still going to say both.
And I'm still going to say both as well because, again, it really depends.
It's not really based on opinion. It's more or less truth.
I mean, and as you heard, as discussed, fandoms in many ways can be bad, but they can also be very good for a product. And not only that, but truly show their love for this product and this creation. And the game developers, movie developers, or basically anybody saw this, and they know that what they're doing, people are actually liking. They're not just making it for the money; they're making it because the fans actually love it. And actually, in a recent story or video I saw, it was by game theorists. Somebody actually sent in, like, I think it was 1,000 bottle caps to Bismuth to show off for the new Fallout 4 game, and they actually sent him a free copy of Fallout 4.
Really?
Yes, so right there, you show that how much not only is the fan dedicated to fandom and the actual creators, but how the actual creators are appreciative of the fandoms and fans. I actually put a link for that video in the description below so you can actually see that. But when I see stories like that, it brings faith back in not only to the video game franchise, but humanity itself, for the fact that they're actually appreciating the people they're selling the products to. They're not just creating these products just to make money. They actually care about what their fans think about it.
And as long as we're on the subject of appreciating the fans, get back to the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. And I just have to wonder what Scott Cawthon is going to do next, because I keep hearing that he's going to be finally done with the franchise soon, and nope, he trolls us with another teaser.
Because he knows, he actually hears the fans saying, we want another game. Continue the story.
And a lot of the fans, like the diehard fans, are really excited whenever a new one comes out, and the people that absolutely hate it are like, he's just milking it for every dime he can get. And the only thing I can say is, you know what? The only people who are actually milking the franchise are the haters. Because they're the ones wasting every single second of their life going to people who like this stuff and saying what their opinion is and the 1,000 ways that they shit off themselves because they disagree. And I wish that weren't the case, but it is.
Now that I know one company that is milking pretty much everything is, of course, Disney, because they recently, of course, bought the rights to air Pokemon. So if you actually go to Disney XD now, you'll see all the original Pokemon shows, from X and Y to the original 1990 series. You'll see that all on Disney XD instead of Cartoon Network now, because they bought the rights for that. And they are now also airing Pokemon.
I kind of think that Disney will be Pokemon's saving grace in a way, because Cartoon Network has not been showing love for their watchers, especially with the fact that 50% of their airtime is that Teen Titans No show. And I'm sorry to shit all over the title, but I absolutely hate Teen Titans Go, because I was a diehard fan of the original Teen Titans series. And I know that Teen Titans Go is supposed to be not canon, it's supposed to be silly, but it's just...
It kind of ruins the character storylines a lot and how they were originally portrayed and how they went from awesome superheroes to a bunch of stumbling idiots that rarely fight crime.
Especially Raven. She doesn't ever smile in the original series unless she actually means it.
Yeah,
when she do half the time, smile.
Did smile a lot, and she did take off her hood a lot. But this new Raven, it seems like she's more like antisocial, more shown more being depressed than anything else. And Robin, they totally screwed him
And
up.
Robin is just part of my language, but he's a total fucktard.
I do have to agree with you with that, but then again, we don't want to piss off any fandoms. But that show has, again, also pissed off a lot of fandoms as well. Because they did that. The one episode I only watched and loved the most was the episode where they were actually forced to watch the original Teen Titans and realize that their own show was crappy.
Oh,
break.
would you please send me a link to that? Because I need to see that for myself.
I will try to find a link on that, but that was the first episode I watched of it, and that is without a doubt my favorite episode, because
that's probably going to be my favorite episode, too, from now on.
Is they even, let's see, isn't it TV Guide, or, what was his name? It's been so long since I've seen the actual original series, no thanks to Cartoon Network. I think it was Control Freak. That's his name. But he basically says that he created this.
I have to go AFK. My grandmother needs something.
Okie dokie. So I guess you'll end the video here. Please subscribe to both of our channels. I'll put a link for her channel in the description below. Thank you again, TheNekoMimiGamer, for being on my little debate.
And we'll probably continue the discussion another time.
Yes, so again, have a nice day to you, and have a nice day to all my beautiful, awesome followers. I think I'll actually go make a normal YouTube video now. I'll do.
Oh yeah, Vanish said something about wanting to see Banjo-Kazooie.
I know that. Actually, I go find my controller. I actually did get an actual Nintendo 64 controller, so I'll actually go plug that in and go do that right now.
Nice. I can't wait to watch that later.
So, peace out, everybody.
TheNekoMimiGamer, signing out.